Hello everyone, welcome to China Overview. I'm Zhang Fangwei. Today we are going to talk about a topic I think most of the foreign students or foreign people are very interested in. That is the traditional Chinese medicine. So speaking of traditional Chinese medicine, I first would like to ask you to see some pictures to see whether you have seen this picture or have heard of such a thing before. Now let's see the first one. This is the one, the lady is using water to do what? Have you seen that before? And what about this one? And this one? And this picture. Actually, all these pictures are part of the traditional Chinese medicine. And I think some of you might have already tried that. And for me personally, I have tried some of these like the moxibustion, and it works for me. So now we'll move on to today's topic. What is traditional Chinese medicine? Let's see. So traditional Chinese medicine is a vast trove of priceless knowledge that has been built up by Chinese people. Its aim is to cure diseases and alleviate suffering. It focuses on the harmony between nature and mankind. And actually, for the traditional Chinese medicine, we will divide this topic into 4 subtopics. So let's first see what are the 4 subtopics. The first subtopic is the philosophy. That is, we're going to talk about the philosophy behind the traditional Chinese medicine. And the second subtopic is the basic theories of the traditional Chinese medicine. And the third subtopic is the diagnosis and the treatments of traditional Chinese medicine. And finally, we will see the development of traditional Chinese medicine. So for today's part, we'll first talk about the first subtopic, that is the philosophy behind the traditional Chinese medicine. And actually, speaking of the philosophy, by learning this part, you can also have a slight or basic understanding of traditional Chinese culture and the traditional Chinese people. Now let's see the philosophy part. So in the philosophy part, let's see what we are going to learn. We are going to learn the Confucianism, Taoism, Buddhism, and all these 3 philosophies or ideas, they are impacting the TCM and the TCM practitioners, that is the doctors, the ancient doctors. So in the last part, we'll learn some famous doctors in ancient China, and their ideas, their prescriptions are actually using nowadays by the present TCM practitioners. So let's see the first part is the Confucianism. Who's Confucius? Confucius, let's see, this is a statue of Confucius, who was born in the year 557 BC. And he actually is a Chinese teacher, editor, politician, and a philosopher of the spring and autumn period of Chinese history. The philosophy of Confucius emphasized personal and governmental morality, correctness of social relationships, justice, and sincerity. And I would like to emphasize this word, benevolence. Benevolence is the supreme principle of Confucianism. So let's see the meaning of benevolence. So originally, benevolence referred to the friendship between people. It requires people to do things benefiting society and others. So medicine was called benevolent science in ancient China. And there's a saying in the ancient times, it says that if I cannot be a good official, I will be a good physician. That's why in the ancient times you will see a lot of people, they are working very hard to become a good doctor, to cure people, to save people's lives and to cure people's diseases. So we can see that Ren actually plays a very important part in ancient people's life. So there's a saying, if I cannot be a good official, I will be a good physician. And speaking of Ren, I have another example to show the importance of Ren. I don't know whether you have seen this story in China. This story is a very famous traditional Chinese medicine story. It has the history of 300 years old, and its name is called Tong Ren Tang. So Tong Ren, Ren is the word I mentioned just now. Ren means benevolence, right? Tong means to be together. So Tong Ren Tang means to help people, to be friendly to people, things like that. So its name actually shows the profound influence of Ren from Confucian culture. So after talking about Confucianism, then let's move on to the other impact or other influence on the TCM, that is the Taoism. There's a saying that medicine and the Taoism share the same origin, and the Taoists are often physicians. And now we move on to some important principles in the Taoism. Let's first see the Chinese 人法地，地法天，天法道，道法自然. Maybe you are not familiar, or maybe you don't understand what I'm talking about now. Let's see the English part. Man takes his law from the earth. The earth takes its law from heaven. Heaven takes its law from the Tao, and the law of the Tao is its 自然, that is the natural laws. So from this part, we can see that the Taoism emphasizes a lot on respecting nature, on live in harmony with nature. And this also can be seen from some important principles in TCM. For example, we suggest to people eat the right food in the right season, do the right movements, the right practices in the right time. So all this actually influenced by the principles from Taoism. And now let's see the impact of Buddhism in traditional Chinese medicine. Buddhism was introduced to China during the Han Dynasty. So the religion reached its peak in China in the Jin and the Tang dynasties. And we all know that, and especially in the TCM, it thinks that some of the diseases were actually caused because of your too sad or your, very extreme emotions. And in Buddhism, people can find the comfort in its mind. And also, besides that, most of the Buddhists in Sui and the Tang dynasties had a good knowledge of medicine and treatments. They built hospitals to promote the joint development of Buddhism and the TCM, and to development closer links between the two disciplines. So the people who believe in Buddhism, they actually helped to promote the widespread of TCM. So we can say that the functions of the Buddhism on the traditional Chinese medicine come from two parts. The one part is that the Buddhism emphasized on the importance of a very peaceful mind. And the second is that the Buddhism, they built a lot of hospitals to cure people's lives. Yeah, on the one hand, they help people to have a better understanding of Buddhism, and on the other hand, it also promote the understanding or the popularity of TCM. So that's all we have discussing the philosophies that influenced traditional Chinese medicine. In the next hour, we will get to know some famous ancient doctors. So looking forward to see you again. Goodbye.